Hey there, friends. We are continuing to work our way through the Teacher's Handbook of Sloyd, and we are up to exercise 58, which the book refers to as common dovetailing, and we would just say dovetails. Well, let's take a look at that and see what that means. So with the dovetail, you're going to lay it out with an angle finder, angle gauge, bevel gauge. You're going to mark that out, do the pins first, and then you'll come back in and do the slots or the tails after that. Now, I recorded the video a couple of weeks ago. I actually recorded a video. Turns out that I didn't have my microphone turned on, so the video was completely silent. Turns out that that's actually a bit of a blessing because the dovetail itself, well, it just didn't come out very well. I think it is a structurally sound dovetail, but it's not something that I would want to show off to anybody else. But since we're all friends here, I'm going to bring you in, show you the mistakes that I made. Let's try and dissect this, figure out what went wrong, and redo it and see if we can come up with a better dovetail. So this was the very first set of dovetails I ever did. This next one will be the second set, and hopefully we're going to get in a little bit better. So let's zoom in. I'm going to bring you in, and we'll look at this close up and see where I went wrong. All right, I think probably the number one mistake that I made is, you see this extra large gap down here at the bottom? Well, on this particular shoulder, when I was cutting this shoulder, I cut it at an angle. Actually, the top of the shoulder was on the right side of the line. The bottom of the shoulder was on the left side of the line. So this was really at a pretty steep angle. Well, I went in and tried squaring this up. And when I did so, that actually dropped me well below my original line. So I know it's really hard to see on the camera here, but my original line was right there. Can you see that? That was my original line. I ended up then having to come back, and that's a pretty significant difference there. And that turns out to be about the size of the gap that I'm facing. So problem number one, shoulders were not square all the way across. So that definitely impacted. All right. Problem number two, and this may have been caused by an error in the way I was handling the saw. This may have been caused by when I was trying to do the marking here, the boards might have slipped. But these angles right here, you see this? These angles right here were not the same. I had to come back in and pair those. And when I paired them, well, you see I actually blew out up here at the top. So, and same thing over here. So I got a little bit of blowout there because my angles were not correct. So we had to come in and do that. All right. Third, and this one actually is quite distressing to me because I know better, is when I was pairing this to kind of clean up that, I actually pushed the chisel all the way through, blew out the backside, and caused this breakout here. Now, we all know, and you've heard me say this, is you don't want to pair all the way through. You want to pair coming in from one side, flip the board over, pair from the other side to avoid that kind of blowout. All right. So overall, I'm not very pleased with the overall dovetail, but let's see if we can do better. We're going to take this apart and we'll now start dovetailing on these ends here. All right, so first thing we want to do is mark the the distance of our board or the thickness of the board. So we take one board, line it up as good as we can, and we'll take the marking knife and we'll put a nick right there. All right. Then we will bring our square in. We'll put the knife there in our cut, and we'll make a couple of light passes there. Get a nice visible line. All right, so now knife goes in that nick. We're just gonna extend this all the way around. So knife in the nick. Okay. Knife in the nick. In the nick. All right, if we've done this correctly, those two lines should meet up perfectly. All right, so we'll bring that in. Well, let's do the same thing over here. All right, so another problem that I had was that I forgot which was the show face and which one was not. So as I'm assembling the dovetail, you know, did this side go up or did this side go up? So that actually caused me a little bit of trouble figuring out which one went which way. So if we had marked this, you know, that would help us figure out which would be the show side and which would not. And you know what? I'm actually going to do this side because I like this. I've got a couple of different marks on here that can make it a little confusing. This one's a little bit more understandable. All right, so what I've got now is my bevel gauge set to a 1/6. All right, and previously what I did is I would come in with a pencil and I would mark it, but this time I'm going to try using the knife to get us a more precise and at least more precise and into the cut itself. So again, we're not trying to make these dovetails. See, I'll let that slip. We're not trying to make the dovetails perfectly symmetrical. What we're trying to do is get functional dovetails, and then we can work on our skill set later. Okay. All right. Put this in the vise now. I'm going to go ahead and darken these lines just to help me see a little better. Maybe help you see a little better. And you know what? It looks like, oh, there it is. It's so light I couldn't even hardly see it myself. All right, let's put it in the vise. We're going to go up a little bit. And I'm going to, I think another problem is I didn't have enough light shining on this last time. So, all right. Knife in that nick. Let's try and go as square across there as we can. Okay. Knife in the nick. Butterfingers. All right. Again, knife in the nick. All right. So before I start sawing, let's put some knife walls in this thing. Okay. All right, let's see if that helped. I did not do knife walls before. Oh, you know what? Here I am. I'm about to put a knife wall in the pin. We don't want that. All right, in the vise we go. Dovetail saw. And now we're going to start right here on this line. Nice light touch. And then let's rotate it a little bit and try and follow that knife wall all the way down. Saw do the work. Okay. And we'll come over here to this one. Get started. Angle there. Now, this right here, I got to take, angling the saw the other direction. I don't do so bad angling it this way, but angling this way, I mean, I've struggled with that now on several of these videos. So let's get that started. Let's see if this knife wall actually helps me. And more. Straight across. Get it started. Angle going. Okay, I'm down to the line over here. The question is, am I down to the line over on the other side? And it appears that I am. All right, let's see if I can keep this nice and square all the way around. Okay, check it for square. And no. Okay. I am at my line, but right here, you can see I had my chisel or my saw a little bit out of square. So let's go ahead and much closer. Much closer. Let's do it a little bit more of a paring stroke here just to clean that up a little bit. All right. Oh, that is much better. See what a good knife wall will do for you? All right, now let's take our 1/4-inch chisel here. We're going to take out this little center section. I actually think I made my dovetails a little bit too, my pins a little bit too big. Let's come away from the line just a little bit. A bit over on this side. Something similar, a little bit away from the line. So let's check for square across here. You can see this is still a little high. Little high right here on this edge. All right, now let's come in to paring strokes, clean up. This one right here in particular. Clean up a little bit right there. I was going to say, hang on, go get my other plane, but I've forgotten I had my number 4 sitting right here. All right, next we want to make the boards absolutely perpendicular. So we used so now that plane actually serves as a rest for that. Line up now as straight as you can. And this is where I got to put a lot more pressure than I did before. So yeah, just let it slip right there. All right. So that I can actually see and not let this thing slip. Now from there, we are going to take our square and go straight down. This needs to go straight down. All right, now that, let's go ahead and mark out the waist here, just to help me keep from getting confused. Okay, and we'll put some knife walls in there. Got our knife wall there at that angle, but we want this to be straight up and down. That's what I was afraid of, a little too much chatter. I was trying to avoid bending way down. So now we come in with our 1/2 inch chisel and just start away from the line just a little bit. A bit of a tap. Just helping to redefine that a little better. Over here. Okay. Back into the knife wall. Another couple of taps. Not hard. Basically, just dropping the hammer on there. Back in, deepen that knife wall. I'm spending a lot more time than I did on the previous one. Now there are ways to do this with a coping saw, but I don't use a coping saw very well. So let's come over here on this side, do the same thing. Go into that knife wall, a couple soft taps. Nothing. Another soft couple of taps. little bit deeper into the knife. All right. Now we come back over here and we can start getting a little bit more aggressive. If you want, you can come in now and start chipping away. In. And let's take out a little bit more waste. And we are getting close. We are getting close. Okay, well, it looks a lot better than the last dovetail. Question is it going to fit better? So let's come in here, clean up. We don't want to go all the way to the end. Around from the other side. This one right there. Got a pretty stubborn piece right there. We ready for the moment of truth? Well, it might help if we actually get it. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. All right. All right, that middle right there. Can you see this? Let's get it real close here. All right, this is where my saw got a little bit off. You see, here's my cut line, and I'm off by a pretty significant amount. And that is about what seems to be holding me up. Okay, that fits there. Getting a little bit right there. Let's see if we can't take just a fraction off. Particularly right here. This socket was not cut completely square. Close, but not quite. With a smaller chisel to see if we can get in these corners just a little bit. All right, friends. Not a perfect dovetail by any means. Still got a little bit of a gap here. A little bit of a gap here. All right, no gap on this side, so that really tells me I got a squaring issue I need to focus on. A little bit proud here. That can be planed down, so overall, much better than my first set. And the only real difference was I took a little bit more time and effort making sure that these shoulders were square. So that seems to be a big issue there. All right, for you more experienced woodworkers, drop comments down below. Tell me how I can improve. This is why we do this. It's not just for me teaching you, it's you teaching me as well. I've had several really good comments over the last several months that have helped me improve, and I very much appreciate that. So if you see anything I'm doing wrong, drop a comment down below. I'd appreciate that. Until next time, friends, take care. God bless.